Okay, so this is the back page of notes 6.5. You are writing a quadratic function in standard form for the parabola that passes through 1, -5, 2, 1, and 3, -1. Okay, so we want it in standard form, which is y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, so we are given 3 points. Each point has an x and a y value. So in order to put it in standard form, you're going to need to find what a equals, b, and c. So in order to do that, what you're going to do is you're going to plug in each point into your standard form. So this is x and this is y. So you're going to come up with 3 different equations. So on the first one, y is -5. We don't know a. X is 1. We don't know b. X is 1. Okay, so work that out. So that would be -5 equals 1 squared is 1. So that would be an a. B times 1 is b plus c. So I plugged in this first point into my standard form. So there's our first equation. I'm going to do the same thing for the second point. So y is 1. We don't know a. X is 2. We don't know b. X is 2. So that's going to give me a 4. So I'm going to have 1 equals 4a plus 2b plus c. Okay, so I'm going to do that for that third point also. I have some room over here. So that's going to be -1 equals a 3 squared plus b times x, which is 3, plus c. Okay, so that's going to give me -1 equals a, so that would be 9a, because 3 squared is 9, plus 3b plus c. Okay, so what we have here is 3 equations that have 3 different variables, a, b, and c. So we would need to solve the system, which are 2 or more equations, so that way we can solve for a, b, and c. Okay, so it's been a while since we've talked about this. We can use elimination, you can use substitution, either way. Okay, so if you notice here, the first thing that you need to do is eliminate one of the variables if you want to use elimination. Notice that all 3 of the equations have just a c. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do is my first step, I'm going to choose 2 equations and I'm going to eliminate the c's. Okay, so I'm just going to choose this first one and the second equation. And notice, in order to eliminate the c's, I would need to multiply one of them by a negative. Doesn't matter which one, so I'll just choose the top. So that would be 5 equals -a minus b minus c. So that would be a 6 equals 4a minus a is 3a. 2b minus b is a b, and then the c's cancel. So now I have an equation that only has an a and a b. So step 2, we're going to use 2 other equations and eliminate the same variable. So I'm going to choose the first equation and the last one. Now one of them I would need to multiply by a negative. It doesn't matter which one. So that's going to be 5 equals -a minus b minus c. Combining them, you end up with 4 equals 8a plus 2b. Okay, so now step 3, we're going to use those 2 equations to eliminate either a or b, so that way we can solve for the other. Okay, so I'm just going to Okay, so you could reduce that second one if you wanted, or you can just look at it and I say B is going to be the easiest to eliminate. So I'm going to multiply the top one by -2. So that would be -12 equals -6A minus 2B. So that's going to equal -8 equals 2A. And then notice the b's cancel. So now I can just divide by 2. And so I have A. It's -4. Okay, so since I know A, now I'm going to either use this equation or this equation to plug into that so I can solve for B. So I'll just use this one here. So 6 equals 3A plus B. I'm going to substitute in 3 times a -4 plus B. So that's 6 equals -12 plus B. And then add 12. So that's going to give you 18 equals B. Okay, so now we're going to, we know A, we know B, and now we need to find C. So I'm just going to plug back into one of the originals that has an A, B, and C. It doesn't matter which one. I'm just going to choose this one right here. So -5 equals A plus B plus C. So plugging in, we have a -5 equals A is -4, B is 18, and we don't know C. So -4 plus 18, we get, my bad, 14. Plus C. And then we're going to subtract 14 over. So -19 equals C. So now since we know A, B, and C, now we can write our standard form. A is -4, B is 18, and C is -19. So those are our standard form that passes through those 3 points that we were given at the beginning.